Hello, guess who and guess what? Well, I'm the guess who, Robbie Susan Chandler, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. I hold classes in my home, so if you're ever in the area or you live in the area, I would love for you to come over and join me for a class. So now let's find out what the guess what is today. The guess what today is card number 3 in my 3-part series of cards made with Kintsugi Inspiration Suite. So let's take a look at what cards 1 and 2 were, and you can go back and hunt those videos and watch the videos on those cards. This was card number 1, and here I just use the designer paper here and the texture note die, and then of course the joined together embossing folder there. This was card number 2, and I used more of the designer paper here. This one opened up and had a thinking of you inside. I used the vase from the bundle. And today's card is this one, where I used 2 pieces of the designer series paper and a vase that's from designer series paper, and this one is a birthday card, time to celebrate. So let's take a look at how to make this card. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, first of all we're going to start with our base, which is thick basic white, and it is 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. So here's the 4 1/4, 8 1/4 this way, and you score it at 5 1/2. So that means when you fold it this way, then you've got 4 1/4 this way and your 5 1/2 this way. So this is our card base, and always use thick if you can for your base because it holds up much better, it looks nicer, it gives a more professional look. Alright, our next layer here is a piece of gold foil that's 4 by 5 1/4, and it just fits right here. Now you wonder why the middle is missing. Well, that's because I cut my front piece out with this die, which is this piece, which is one that's going to go on the front. So I didn't want to waste my gold, cover it all up. So these are the texture note dies. I love these. This is the one I used for the front piece. Let me slide this down so you can see what I'm talking about. This is one I used for the front piece. This one I used for the white piece. And those are the 2 that I used on this card. So now we've got our inside piece. Let me put this back over here. Alright, and what we want, oh, and then the piece that's going to go on top of this for our sentiment is a piece of basic white, and it's 5 by 3 3/4, and this is the one we stamp on. Now, you know, if you didn't want to use another piece here, you could always just stamp in here, but you just will have to be very careful when you cut this piece out that you get it even. This one I just happened to do a good job, so that would go there. And another option would also be this could go underneath if you're scared you might mess up, and then put that down, but again you'd have to be careful cutting this out. So that's our first step there. Let's see, I have one already here. Now our piece right here on the front flap is this piece. Well, I'm going to show you both of these because they're both 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. So both of these designer series paper are 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I adhered, well, first of all I embossed this one with the joined together embossing folder. See the design in it? Isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to adhere it to a piece of gold foil that's 4 by 2 1/2. Now this gold foil actually has a little design in it because it's on the clearance rack right now, and I decided to go ahead and get it because there were 3 sheets of gold in a pack, and I think it's $5 right now. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I adhere these 2 pieces together like this, and then I want to put it on the front. So now we have our piece inside and our piece on the front here. Yeah, this is piece before I put it on there. Okay, and then the inside on that white piece I showed you, I stamped Time to Celebrate, and that comes from Beautiful Butterflies, and I stamped it in Misty Moonlight. And then the flower here is from, well, where is, oh, it's from the vase set. I don't think I have that out. I don't. This flower's from the Inspiring Imperfection set, and I stamped it and colored it with This is light olive and dark petal pink. I can show you here. This is the stamp set, and this is the flower that I used. Okay, so now we have our inside and our front. Now let's look at our flap area. That is this piece that we cut out of the middle, and then this designer series piece that we glued on here. Now let me show you what pack all this paper comes from. It comes from this pack, and the pieces I'm using today are this one and the one hidden under here. And these are the others that I used on the other cards. And this is called Kintsugi Inspiration 12x12 Specialty Designer Series paper. Now also in this pack of paper you get 2 sheets of vases. So you get all these colors, and I'm going to show you some variations with these colors. But 2 sheets of the vases, and the die from the die set cuts these out. There's also a die that cuts these little vases out, and there's also a die that will cut around this flower. So all of those are in the Inspiration Perfection die set. Alrighty, so we've got these 2 here together, and it's just going to go right here on the front like this. Now I'm going to show you, like I said, some different varieties. And my happy birthday is actually mounted on a piece of gold that's 2 7/8 by 1 3/8, and I just stamped it and adhered it to that. Alright, here's one where there was a little bit of green, so I decided to use a green vase. So that's an option. Let's take a look at that one. And then here's one that had a little bit of Very Vanilla there. It's really not my favorite because I don't really like the Very Vanilla with the white, but you might. There was just so much Very Vanilla, I thought it picked it up well. And then this one is with the petal pink vase. There was a lot of petal pink design back there in the background. And that's what that one looks like. I really kind of like that one. And then here's the blue. Now this blue vase, first of all, this blue vase was cut out of here. But this one was actually another color. I think it was the this one. And I took my Misty Moonlight blend and colored it. And I think it turned out very nice being colored that way. It gave me some more options to get blue ones. So this would be what the blue one would look like. So I'm just going to lay this one here so you can see this one. And the blue is what I used on my original. So anyway, there's our card. That was a pretty easy card to make, and the designer paper does all the work for you. By the way, the flower I stamped inside in basic gray. I didn't feel like the blue flower looked exactly right. So I think this is a lovely card. It has a lot of gold on it, but if you buy that pack that's on sale, it's not quite as cost effective. And here's your inside. I hope you like this card. Please like my video. Please subscribe to my channel. Supplies, link to all the supplies are down below. If you need a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and I'd love to be your team leader if you would like to become a demonstrator. So, until next time, happy crafting.